What's happening, my fellow geeks and geekettes? Welcome to a brand new episode of Chris's Custom Collectibles, and this week we are going to be pimping out the Jakks Pacific 31-inch Henry Cavill Superman from Batman v Superman Dawn of Justice. Now, as of last week, we finally got the 20-inch versions of this here in Australia. I found them at Target, but you know what? 20-inch just doesn't cut it for me. I need the 31-incher. Plus, also, I need a friend for this guy. Now, you two play nice, alright? So, for those who are new to the Chris's Custom Collectibles on my channel in general, hello, welcome. I feel sorry for you. Basically, what Chris's Custom Collectibles is taking everyday toys, figures, statues you'd get from Toys R Us, Target, Big W, you name it, pimp them out, do them up, give them a better paint job that they deserve. Now, with this tutorial, we're not going to be doing anything overly drastic to supes. For example, the whole bodysuit is perfect. The color is spot on, so we will not be repainting anything on the bodysuit. The biggest issue I have with this figure is the paint job on the head sculpt. It looks very dead, one-dimensional. He looks like a corpse. So we're going to be going in with an airbrush. We're just going to be airbrushing some brown here and there. I'm also going to be removing the eyebrows because the base color is skin. The plastic itself is actually skin color. So we can remove these eyebrows with ease. I'll then obviously be repainting the eyebrows on because there are actually sculpted eyebrows here, but for some reason they just put these big fucking caterpillars right here. And then of course after that, the piece de resistance that makes any figure like this look amazing is the cape. We have to remove the shitty cape and replace it with a brand new one that is really gonna make this figure pop. And like all custom collectibles, the first step we have to do is take it apart. Okay, so the first thing we're going to knock over is coloring the suit. And like I stated in the intro, I'm not going to do any repainting of the suit. I think the colors are perfect. They've even gone so far as to have the metallic blue on some of the armor pieces, which is very cool. The chest emblem seems fine. The golds and reds are all there. Now, the photo that I'm trying to emulate, or the look of the suit that I'm trying to emulate, is this publicity photo here. Now, as you can see, the Man of Steel and the Dawn of Justice suit has quite a metallic sheen to it with some shots and under some lighting conditions. And the reason being is because Henry Cavill actually wears a metallic muscular undersuit. So when the fabric is stretched enough, you can just see that metallic sheen shining through, which, you know, emulates him as the Man of Steel, which I really like. So that's what we're going to try to achieve. Now, as you can see here, I've already gone ahead and done the weathering process on the back here. And that was achieved by putting 2 coats of shoe polish all over. Now you gotta let them dry in between each coat. Then once it's dry, you go in with a damp sponge and wipe away the excess, and you're left with all that amazing detail, and it really picks up the muscular structure. Now you're probably thinking it looks matte, it looks nothing like it. Once it's fully dried after we've wiped down the excess, we're gonna go in with some clear gloss from Rust-Oleum, and that's really gonna bring that sheen to life and really emulate that suit. Now also, when we're applying the gloss, I'm gonna be masking off the areas where there's skin shown because I don't want that being glossed up just yet. We still have to go in and fix that up, weather it, make it look a bit more realistic. So we've got our shoe polish, our masking tape, our clear gloss, and of course wear gloves, guys, because you're gonna get shoe polish all over those hands. Okay, now that the 2 coats of shoe polish have fully dried, you want to let them sit for about half an hour, and you're going to grab your scourer sponge, damp it with nice warm water, and then I'm just going to lightly start scouring away, and that's going to take the shoe polish off the raised surface, the texturing of the suit, and then leave behind a nice detailed finish. And the good thing about lightly going over this is that the black stays within the muscle shading, so it really makes the figure a lot more three-dimensional. Okay, I'm just finishing up the leg section now, and of course once you are finished scrubbing away the excess shoe polish, you want to wipe it down and get rid of all that excess water off the surface and let it dry. Now once all this is done and dry, we're going to be coating the entire suit with some Rust-Oleum clear gloss, and what that's going to do is give the suit sort of a sheen in certain lights, just like the screen used suit, and really make it look like a metallic understructure. Okay guys, now that the suit has fully dried and all that excess water has been removed, what we want to do now is apply some clear gloss from Rust-Oleum. That's really going to bring a sheen to the suit. I've temporarily put it all back together, and to be honest, I really like this look. I think I might get another one and just do a display as if the suit's in that costume chamber from Man of Steel. Now I have gone ahead and taped off the neck because I don't want that getting gloss on it. I still want it to be matte for now because we still do have to overhaul that and the head sculpt. Now of course, when using clear coat, please remember to wear a respirator. Alright geeks, now that the bodysuit is pretty much done, we're going to move on to the head sculpt and then finally the cape. Now I kind of jumped the gun a little here, so to speak. I have removed the eyebrows, the original painted eyebrows, because you can see there are sculpted eyebrows already on there, and they completely missed them and put these 2 big caterpillars on top. So I'll just see if I can get this in some good lighting. Now I've already started the airbrushing process. As you can see, it's I've just started to pick up some shading and whatnot all around the face and just give a bit more depth and make it look a bit less like a corpse. Now even though this has already been airbrushed, there is still lots of layering to do, and I will demonstrate on the neck how I started off. So what we're going to be using is the brand new Testors range of airbrush paints, and it's just a standard brown on a very, very light mist setting on the airbrush, and just evenly, very slowly, take your time, go over the skin tone. It just gives the illusion of pores and imperfections that the skin does have. And even though this is Superman, and you know, he's supposed to look perfect and everything, the skin still does have imperfections. So I'll show you exactly how I did this on the neck piece. Alright geeks, here we go. We are all set up ready to airbrush the neck, and this is the paint of choice, Create FX by Testors. This is just their standard brown. We can make him match this guy here. Now there's still a lot to do. I still have to go in and redo the eyes because they're just still looking dead at the moment. It's just ridiculous. It's corpsey Superman. So with that being said, let's get airbrushing the neck, and you'll see exactly how I did the head, exact same method applied for the neck. Now when you are airbrushing something like a neck here, you see we've got some contouring lines. You just want to very subtly follow those along, making sure to blend them in with the rest of your work. You can see already it's just starting to give that skin texture a bit of depth and really complement the rest of the suit. Alright geeks, what I'm doing now is just going in with some Creator FX, also from Testors, just the light flesh color. And what this is basically going to do is just even out and soften the brown that we applied. Otherwise, he looks a little too tanned and the brown looks way too forced. So what this essentially does is kind of softens the blow of the brown. And you do realize in some shots and scenes, Henry Cavill is quite pale. So this, you know, is kind of a way to lighten the skin as well, because you don't want him overly tanned. Now with the lips, I did go over them very lightly with the brown that we used for the first layer, because they're just a flat pink. And that's not the color of Henry Cavill's lips. It's not a flat pink. It's kind of like a purplish, diluted, pinkish, red, all mixed in. And applying that brown just made it that color. Now I do know there are some speckles on the eyes, but what we're going to be doing next is getting some Model Masters white. And we're gonna get rid of those black lines on top because they just look shithouse. If you put your finger there, it looks a lot better without that black line. So next step after airbrushing this light skin tone on is re-whitening the eyes and getting rid of those black lines. Alright geeks, I'm calling it a day on the head sculpt. It's really been doing my head in for the last 2 days. Just trying to get the skin tone right, the eyes right. The eyes have been the hardest part, so I'm trying to demonstrate working with what you've got. I didn't want to completely repaint the eyes. They're not symmetrical, of course, because they're made in a factory, so of course there's going to be defects and whatnot, but you know what, I reckon what we've got so far is good. So I'm very happy with how he's looking so far. So I am going to go over the hair again. I did repaint the hair black because there were bits of, you know, flesh colored paint and whatnot from the airbrushing process. I'm just going to quickly go back over that with some black shoe polish just to give it a bit more of a sheen, because he does seem to have greased hair in Dawn of Justice. Henry Cavill is sporting some greased hair. So once that's done, I'll probably do a few more tweaks here and there. And honestly, this camera is not picking up the skin detail and the proper skin tone. It's really shitting me because you guys can't see it in all its true glory. So, you know, I'm just gonna have to go with it, unfortunately, but it's looking better than what it was when it came off the shelf. So the next and final step is the cape, and we're done. Alright geeks, like I said, the next and final step in this process is constructing the cape. Now this is the collar template. Now I'll get to this in a moment. I just want to touch on the hands. I did actually treat the hands. I just watered down some brown shoe polish and used it as a wash. I wasn't going to go to town on it with an airbrush and whatnot, and it seemed to do the trick. Just a bit of brown shoe polish, use it as a wash with a little bit of water and wipe the excess off. Now that that's out of the way, let's get onto the cape. Now this is the collar template that I've drawn up, and if you're wondering why I've just got the collar section, well, that's the one that matters most. After that, it's just, you know, spanning out and making half a circle pretty much. So it's pretty self-explanatory, guys. The way the Man of Steel and Dawn of Justice suit works is the cape comes around and clips under the suit, but in this case the fabric goes in these two slots, and where it comes out inside the figure, it wraps around these two pegs here. So as you can see here, these two tabs here that actually go quite thin will be the parts that are going to be hidden and wrapping around the pegs here. Now for those who are asking about my measurements for the Batman cape when I did the Jakks Pacific Batman figure, I really should have done the measurements for you guys. So this is what I've got here. So the span of the cape on each side is 72 centimeters. So that is from the starting point there, around the back, all the way down to the bottom of his boot. Now from this point all the way down to the bottom of his boots is 65 centimeters, and I've got that right there. So like I said, guys, it's pretty self-explanatory. I'm just gonna trace this on the fabric. The fabric I found is actually pretty damn close, and I'm pretty happy with it. It's sort of like a sports material, so it does stretch one way, the other way it doesn't stretch at all. But just in terms of color, it's a perfect match. And it was dirt cheap too. It was only $10 a meter, so I got 2 meters because this is gonna be quite a long span with this cape. I just thought I'd show you guys how it is now, and then I'm gonna cut to me after I've drawn the template onto the fabric, measured it out, and we're gonna start cutting it out. And then after that, we're just gonna insert the tabs in each slot, bring them around, curl them around these pegs here and just securely glue them in with some Loctite, guys, and that's it. We are pretty much done. Now, I did try and fiddle a bit more with the paint scheme on the sculpt. I've really got to just let this one go. I will be trying to tackle this again. I am going to be practicing my flesh tones and painting eyes and whatnot after this, but you know what, sometimes you just got to walk away. So as far as I'm concerned, after the cape's done, I'm calling it a day on this figure. I'm then going to go back and, like I said, go through some tutorials myself to try and eventually crack this head. Not literally, just make it look realistic. So without further ado, let's get the cape done, set him up, and pair him up next to the Batfleck. So thanks very much for watching, guys. If you had any questions or queries or anything you're unsure of in this tutorial, please drop a comment below and I'll try and get back to you as soon as possible. As always, thank you very much for your continuing support and watching, and until next time, geeks, please always remember, cosplayers do it best.